And good morning, everybody. We are live for the Woodward Sports College Football Kickoff Show. Thank you for joining us this morning. Your host, Adham, Beydoun, Jeff Iafrate along with us, and, of course, Booner from Woodward Bets. Booner, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. I'm doing good. After last Saturday, I'm doing really good.
6-3, you said, right?
6-3.
Not bad, man.
3-0 best bets.
I didn't trust you. I'm not going to lie.
No,
You earned my
told
trust
you.
last week.
Yeah, I told you last week. I'm bringing winners. I'm here to win some money for
Cade
us.
McNamara prevented Michigan from covering. God damn it. I see, this is why bad quarterbacks aren't good for college football. Not only for the team, but, for people like me that bet on the game.
Yep.
Not cool. Not cool at all. We got a jam-packed slate. I'm excited. I'm very excited. Michigan play, of course. They play UConn. That's going to be... Look, I hate to say I'm not going to watch it, but I'll probably watch the first 2 quarters, and it'll be done by then, and then I'll go and deal with my wife. And then after that, Michigan State at a night game, correct?
Yep.
Michigan State's got a night game against Washington. And that is going to be a game. Michigan State are 0-12 on the road against Pac-12 teams. Mel Tucker's got to change that today. 100%. Take Michigan in the points, Michigan State in the points. I'm all for it. We'll go around college football. We'll go around the Big Ten, see what other teams are playing, who they're playing today, all that and much, much more. But we got to recap last week a little bit, all right? A few upsets that happened. Appalachian State, I did say they would cover the 18.5 points. I didn't think they would win, though, so I'm not going to sit here and say that I knew something nobody didn't. I did take them on the points, but Jesus Christ, Booner, they actually won.
Yeah. I was shocked, actually. I thought Appalachian State is a good football team. They've been a good football program for the last couple of years, but the fact to go into Texas A&M on the road and beat that Texas A&M football team, which even after that loss, I still think they're a good football team. With some of they have the team to do it.
They have the players, but do they have the coach? Jimbo Fisher, you are just recruiting based on monetary value.
Yep.
And I don't know how you can build a program like that. And for everybody that says, oh, NIL is ruining college football, there's too much money being thrown around, the players make too much money. Money doesn't solve your program's issues, I promise. Look at Texas. How much have they spent? Texas A&M. The oil money schools. It's not fixing it. So that's why you need a Mel Tucker, a Jim Harbaugh, a Dabo Swinney, and Nick Saban. Guys at the end of Kirby Smart that can coach. You can't just be an amazing recruiter. You got to be able to recruit, coach. Being a college football coach is difficult. And you can't just rely on that money to get the players in. You got to coach up the players. There's a reason why Alabama brings out so much NFL talent, Georgia, even Michigan on the defensive side of the ball. So there's a lot to cover today. Jeff, good morning, buddy.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good. Yeah.
How's the traffic?
It's bad. It's terrible. It's on Saturday.
Oh, man.
I'm excited. I was looking through the games on the way here. It's probably only a handful I'm watching. But you know what? Still a good week.
That's college football this early on in the year, but let's be honest. We have seen Ohio State, Notre Dame. We will get Clemson, Notre Dame later. USC, Notre Dame. We're going to get the Big Ten schedule starting soon, the SEC schedule starting soon.
BYU versus Oregon.
Today you get Georgia at South Carolina. That's a game, right? It's at least something you'd watch if you had to. Penn State visiting Auburn. That's a game. And Neil Rule, the Get Right special with Neil Rule, he said take Auburn at any and all costs.
Did you know
He doesn't trust James Franklin.
Did you know that Steve Clifford last year had 3.5 seconds to throw against Auburn? And now this year Auburn has a good defensive line again, so I'm going to be curious to see. If Penn State can protect him, you got a game, but that's a sneaky one.
BYU at Oregon. I'm hands off in that game. Especially after I got burned last week. God damn it.
I tried to tell you last week.
God damn it. What do we do with Appalachian State, by the way? What? How? How do you beat the number 6 team in the country? But they really weren't, right? They've always been highly ranked early on because of their talent, not because they've had a really, really good team. So, look, I'm curious to see how today plays out. A lot of bogus matchups. Clemson and Louisiana Tech. You got Texas, UTSA. Michigan State at Washington is a good game. USF at Florida. That's not getting me out of bed. Ohio State hosting Toledo. Sorry, Toledo. You're going to get mauled in that game. Marvin Harrison Jr., by the way, last week looked phenomenal. That was good to see. Speaking of which, have we all seen the trend, by the way? Either we're all getting old or we're just peaking at the right time. But yeah, Patrick Surtain, Marvin Harrison, right? Asante Samuel, former NFL players who were phenomenal back in their day. And now you have their kids, Patrick Surtain Jr., Asante Samuel Jr. on the Chargers, Surtain on the Broncos, Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out of college pretty soon. I mean, either we're old or we were born at the right time.
Yeah, I think you're just getting old, Adam.
I think Spooner.
I want to test too. My mic wasn't working. Please comment if you can hear me right now, because I just unmuted it. That was my bad. Snuck in here a little late, but
your mic wasn't working?
Yeah, I was speaking some facts. I was speaking my truth right there, and no one heard it. But it's okay.
Good. Nobody wants to hear you.
I guess not. Like, shoot, shut that guy's mic off.
Oh man! All right, the obvious game to start with. Michigan and UConn. I mean, it's a home game. They have 8 home games this year for Michigan. We all knew the schedule going into the year. I don't want to hear anybody complaining about it, by the way. I really don't. SEC does it. They all do it. Bama, Georgia, Florida, they all do it. They play Citadel. They play Troy. I thought Troy was a goddamn movie. Turned out to be a college football team, too. We're not doing this. No. Furman? So, Clemson played them last week. I don't want to hear it. I really don't. So no Michigan slander, even though it is a cupcake schedule. I don't want to hear it. We're not doing this. Every team does it. This is college football. This is why they're going to expand the playoff. This is why they're going to turn into super conferences. So you get better football, guys. That's the whole point of it. Cool? Great. Let's move on to the game. J.J. McCarthy is going to royally fuck UConn today, and I'm very excited for it, guys.
Yeah, that's going to be a similar narrative for a couple weeks. I mean, we got you have Colorado State, UConn, and last week Hawaii. It's probably not too much to analyze here, Booner, but J.J. McCarthy's going to torch UConn. They were on the list for one of the worst college football teams, top 25. Aren't the first 3 opponents for Michigan on that list as well? So I don't have a problem with it, by the way. I came on the show, I said it Friday, I'm like, this is the path to get in the college football playoff. You don't want to end up like Alabama last week, almost losing to Texas, and be in a situation where you have one loss this early in the year. So I got no problem with it. But yeah, JJ's going to... It's going to be an ass whooping.
I like it, Boner.
No, I agree. Looking at the bet side of things, we talked about last week staying away from those big numbers. They didn't cover last week because Cade got in the game and killed it, and he didn't move the ball at all. Adam was talking about that right before the show. But I love halftime, first quarter. They don't have a halftime line for this game yet, but the first quarter is sitting at -10.5, and I love that. I think JJ is going to come out 2 possessions in the first quarter, 2 touchdowns, and they're going to get 2 stops as well versus UConn. I think it'll be a 14-0, maybe 21-0 after the first, and even going into halftime. I also like their team total. It's at 52.5. I think we saw last week at halftime they're sitting at 42-0. I see the same thing with JJ this week versus UConn, and I think, and then at that point we just need 10 points in the second half. If Cade's in, maybe he'll get us a touchdown, hopefully. But I like that as well. Their team total 52.5. But I'm with you guys too. I mean, the UConn, the schedule thing. I think it's not a talking point, to be honest.
No.
I mean, in a couple of years, Michigan has Oklahoma, they have Texas. So I think it just goes through college football team schedule years in advance, to where some years you get no one, some years you have some good schedules.
I'll tell you what, Michigan 47-point favorites.
Yep.
And I'm not too opposed. I think it's a shutout today. The quarterback. No, I'm being serious right now.
I know you're being serious.
He's barely throwing over 50% completion percentage. Just barely. It's like 54, 55% on the year.
Right.
He's got 3 interceptions through 3 games. Good luck, UConn, because Michigan's defense, they have done a good job so far. Even again, super easy schedule to start the year. But they've been getting after the quarterback, whether it was Colorado State or Hawaii.
Against these non-conference opponents.
So I'm liking what I see. It's promising, just like we say it's promising for the Michigan State backfield and how they've done in the first few games. Same with Jacoby Woodman. There's promising things on the Michigan defensive side of the ball, which to me was a concern going into the year, not only because of the talent you missed, you lost your defensive coordinator to the NFL.
Yeah.
So a lot of factors play a role in this. I think the 47 points this week.
Are you worried if JJ doesn't play the whole game?
No, I'm not. I still think 35-0, 42-0 is a legitimate halftime score for Michigan in this game, especially with McCarthy playing a majority of the first half.
Right.
Cade comes in the second half. I think the defense will get you a few points this game. I'm looking at a quarterback that's throwing the ball well over 20 times a game. He'll have to be in the 30s against Michigan, and it's a game UConn does not want to play. Give me Michigan and the points. I know it's a big number. 47 is a lot to cover, but for me, this game is a 73-3, or excuse me, 72-3, 72-7, 72-10 game at best. I think Michigan steamroll. They don't go a single possession punting unless Cade's on the field.
Take that over, man.
This is coming from a state fan, too.
Take that over.
No, I mean, look,
You're
I'm
being
sorry.
realistic.
UConn isn't giving me anything to worry about right
No,
now.
they're not.
They only score 20 points a game,
Yep.
and that was against average opponents, and they're
Yeah.
giving up almost 30 a game. Good luck against Michigan, who are going to steamroll you.
At home.
Yeah, no, I'm
At
not
the
a
big
fan of
house.
this. And again, look, even if, let's say you double the points they gave up and you halved the points they scored. Let's say they only score 14 points. Is it unrealistic of Michigan to score, I don't know, 62 points? I don't think so. I think that's very realistic. So, a lot going on this weekend. We'll get, actually, you know what? Before I get to Michigan State, all right? You guys agree with me on the points here, or you think it's too much? Michigan, 47.5.
The only thing that worries me, if JJ plays, and I easily could put up those points.
Well, you know,
just see.
J.J. McCarthy is a very sporadic quarterback, right? Low completion percentage on the year, tons of turnovers. He's a bad quarterback. So, you know, we have to listen to all the Cade supporters on this one. Don't take Michigan.
Yeah,
I
like if
forgot.
Cade's in the game. Cade threw a pick against Hawaii last week. So, like, who knows? But Michigan's going to destroy them. We all agree there. It'll be a big win.
All right, this is what I like next. Penn State, Auburn. We'll get to Michigan State in a little bit. Please excuse the delay, but I really want to get to Penn State, Auburn. I wish I could sit here and tell you that the game makes sense to me, or that, you know, this is going to be a close game, or that it's an even matchup, and I'm really not sure, but I'm very sure. And after doing a little bit more homework, it just became very clear to me Penn State has no shot tonight. Zero.
What?
I don't think Penn State has a chance.
Okay,
I really don't. It's a 3:30 game in Auburn. Auburn's 2-0 to start the year. They're not going to let some scrub Big Ten school, no offense, Penn State, but you're all a bunch of bitches. They're not going to walk into Auburn and beat them. I'm sorry. It's a very difficult place to play. Bama struggles there. Georgia struggles there. All the SEC teams struggle there. Auburn looked good so far to start the season. I like what I've seen out of them. I like what I see out of their quarterback. Very dynamic. The run game has been very good for Auburn. They have a dynamic wide receiver in Johnson. Finley at quarterback. I don't like the turnovers.
Yeah.
I don't like the turnovers.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and trust Clifford and James Franklin. Although I think Franklin's a hell of a coach. Not on the road. I don't see it happening. Give me Auburn.
The key to this game is going to be that Auburn defensive line getting to Clifford, because I mentioned him. My mic was muted, but Clifford last year, they beat Auburn. He played pretty well, but again, he had 3.5 seconds to throw the football. So if they could pressure him, even last year he won, but on the year he's playing well. I mean, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. I like Penn State in this game. Even going to Auburn's the biggest question for me. Like, that's what makes me second guess myself, because going to Auburn's a tough place to play. I mean, you're right about that. I'm just a little more higher on Penn State. I think they have a decent team. I mean, Singleton has 210 yards already, so if they can get it done on the ground, Clifford plays a clean game, doesn't turn the ball over. I could see Penn State winning this one, but again, to me it's a toss-up too. Auburn at home stuff.
Booter, what do we got?
I'm with Adam. I mean, Auburn, we all know, to me, it's one of the toughest places to play in college football. Just outside of them and LSU, it's the two toughest places to play. This Penn State team, to me, I bet on Purdue week 1 or week 0 whenever they played, and I did not like the Penn State team. I mean, they have, you know, Clifford, they have the guys to do it, but they also lost some key spots last year with Brisker, Dotson. Like, they lost some key players. I love Auburn at home getting points. You get 2.5, maybe 3, depending on where it's at right now. But I love taking Auburn. I'm going to take them in the points there. At home, it's just, as an underdog at home, I don't hate it at all, to be honest. I'm 100% with Adam on this one.
Yeah, look, it's just a tough matchup. Tough place to play.
I agree with
we
you.
talk about playing in the swamp.
Yep.
Utah struggled, and I think Utah are one of the better teams in college football. I had them 7 going into the year. I really think a lot of the program, what the coach is doing there, but playing in the swamp, playing at Auburn, playing at LSU, I mean, that is no joke, man. Playing in Iowa in a night game, right? Like, there are these magical atmospheres that you just have to accept, and Auburn is one of them.
You can get them on the money line for like plus 115 too, so they're plus there.
I think, again, when I like a home team and they are underdogs, it's a free bet for me. Even if I lose it, it's just free money. I'm taking the home team. Give me Auburn. I don't think Penn State wins. I think we all agree outside of Jeff. Jeff, you're taking Penn State.
I'm going to go with Penn State.
Okay,
but
fair enough.
It'll be close.
Fair enough. Here's what I have for you guys. Michigan State, Washington. This matchup is probably going to put me to sleep. It really is. Not in a bad way. Like I am terrified. I don't even think for a second that this Washington team is going to give fits like we saw Michael Penix do when he was in the Big Ten. Let's start there. They got Michael Penix. The offense is rolling. They've done a good job so far. We have to give them credit. They are 2-0 on the season. The kid's thrown for over almost 700 yards. They're averaging 48 points a game. The offense is explosive in Washington right now. Tonight is a Mel Tucker special, in my opinion. Michigan State's 0-12 on the road against the Pac-12. That's changing tonight. Not only am I taking Michigan State, I'm going to fully trust Michigan State to have a game plan, not only for Michael Penix. He's going to have to deal with the State's pass rush. I think the secondary, Mel Tucker put his stamp on it before the season started. He talked about how he's going to put his name on the secondary. They will be one of the most improved aspects of this football team. I think that comes clean tonight. I think that'll be good for tonight. And there's one player that has struggled that I don't think will struggle like he has. That's Peyton Thorne. 3 interceptions on the year so far. He's been off to a slow start. We'll see what Reed's status is for tonight. That's still to be determined. I haven't gotten any updates yet. Maybe it has changed. But as of right now, even without Reed, I think the running backs are explosive. I think they're dynamic enough. Michigan State's going to have to play a gritty, ugly game. Washington deservedly are the favorites, I think, given the West Coast trip, the history of the Michigan State in the Pac-12. But I've got State ending that curse tonight. No more 0-12. It'll be 1-12 after tonight. Give me Michigan State to win this game.
This one's tricky for me for a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm curious to see that secondary for Michigan State. We talk about the pass rush, Jacoby Windman. I mean, he's the FBS leader in sacks right now, so if he can keep that up, it's going to cause Washington some issues, especially if they try to pass through the air. My only concern is for Washington is they give up 115 yards per game on the ground. And now you're facing a duo backfield that has been deadly so far this season. Berger is leading the team in like 200-something yards, like 8 yards per carry. So it's about running the football and getting after the quarterback for Michigan State. And I think also if you can get after Michael Penix and this passing attack before things open up in the field, they're gonna find success. So give me Michigan State. I think Peyton Thorne plays a clean game. The key for him is establishing that play action. I think last week he was like 1 for 6 on play action passes. With that good of a run game, you got to get more efficient in the play action. So for me, I think Peyton Thorne bounces back. They win, but I think they win by like a field goal. It'll be close.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about money line. I'm going to be on money line, the Michigan State money line today. It's about plus 140. But I'm with you guys here. I think State wins this game. I might go alternate line and move it to minus 2.5, even maybe a touchdown just to sprinkle some on that. Because I think Michigan State comes in this game and with Tucker, I think it like Adam said, it has to be a statement game in my opinion. It's their first big game of the season. But with the run game that they have, the run game travels across the country. It's a big road trip. That's going to travel. Like these two guys that are in the backfield, they're going to have a big game today. And like you said, they give up over 100 rushing yards a game. I like Michigan State. Neither of these teams have played a Power 5 school yet. And
it's
that
a prove-it week, right?
Yeah, and at
both
that
teams
point,
are going to find out how legit they are.
Exactly.
They haven't traveled out west since Mel Tucker's been there, correct? Or have they?
I don't believe so.
I think this is the first time, and obviously
last year they started the season on the road at Northwestern, and then on the road in Miami.
And historically, we know Michigan State hasn't been very good out there.
Yep.
But it's okay. Yep. We'll see.
Yeah, I've got Michigan State. I'm going to ride or die with it. It is a tricky game. That's a tough early matchup. You got to prove it, right? You want to be the number 11 team in the country, which I don't think they are. I don't think they're the 11th best team in college football.
I think they're like between 13 and
somewhere between
16.
14, 17. That's kind of where I have them. But
I would agree with you.
Again, based on the AP poll, right? Teams lose, they got to move up. It's whatever.
Right.
But Michigan State, that defensive front has to show up tonight. Peyton Thorne needs to have a game similar to really what you saw in stretches against Michigan, where he made some key big throws that set up Kenneth Walker touchdowns. You have to have some plays tonight that just aren't, what's the way I want to put this? Just don't shoot your team in the foot.
Yeah.
3 interceptions in 2 games. Don't throw an interception tonight. No fumbles. Michigan State, if they want to win this football game, they cannot lose the turnover battle. They do, all bets are off. It's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't think they're explosive enough on offense yet. They haven't found their rhythm yet. to really overcome 2 interceptions, a fumble and interception. You can't overcome multiple turnovers, on the road against a Washington team that they can put up points. And if there's one thing we've seen about college football, defense really doesn't win you championships anymore. It's about the offense. So as much as you like the defensive front, as much as you may like a lot of things about Michigan State, they're going to have to play a hell of a game on defense to stay in it with Washington. Washington deserved favorites, but Michigan State has to win this game. You don't want to drop this game. No, the season's not over if they lose, but you cannot afford to lose this game this early. I know it's Washington. I know you've got the rest of your Big Ten schedule coming up after. You have the whole season to make up for it. You don't want to lose this non-conference game. You just don't.
And I think Michael Penix beat Michigan State at, what was his old school he was at, Indiana? Michael Penix, his old school. He's beaten Michigan State before. It was like 2 years ago. But I'm going to be curious to see it. It's going to be good. I think, like you said, the way to win this game is getting after the quarterback.
I think it was Michigan that they beat that year, not Michigan State, was it?
I'm like 98.5 positive.
Oh, he's 1-1 in his career.
Okay, 1-1, so he did lose. But like you said, Adam, the key to this game, and like Booner was saying, is on the ground. I mean, if you have a team that gives up over 100 yards per game and you have 2 dynamic running backs, pound the football and don't put everything on Peyton Thorne. I mean, you see how he's struggling. But again, if they get this play action established, Booner, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, fair enough. Well, let's move on to one of my favorite schools so far this year. The epitome of shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about, and that's USC. Lincoln Riley, the second he was hired, I was on this table laughing, screaming how good of a hire it was. Oh, well, Adham. All the Michigan fans, all right, my favorite people, Michigan fans, they would flutter our chats. They would flutter my Twitter and say, Adham, Lincoln Riley's an overrated head coach. He's overrated. He's overrated, Adham. He's overrated. He ain't going to do nothing. He ain't going to do nothing at USC.
Those people are buffoons.
That's what they told me. Little did they know that during his time at Oklahoma, he had more 12-win seasons than Michigan did in their entire history as a program. And that he reached multiple college football playoffs. And that he actually went toe-to-toe with Nick Saban in one of those college football semifinals. Yes, the defenses on the Lincoln Riley teams have never been any good. But the defensive talent you can recruit at USC and Oklahoma are night and day. He brought in Caleb Williams, Jordan Addison. The rest is history. They're off to a great start. I am in love with this USC team. They're averaging more yards per play than the Kyler Murray Oklahoma team did. They're averaging more points a game. They're averaging everything more than that college football playoff team. This USC team, to me, looks like a college football playoff team. Not because they're one of the better teams in the country, but because look at their schedule. They're going to breeze through the Pac-12. If they can get past Utah, if they get past a few key games, they could be a one-loss Pac-12 champion and get into the college football playoff. Booner?
I love the energy. I'm with you on that. All year, from week one, I was on this USC team. Last week, that was my favorite bet of the whole week was USC. I think they're still getting disrespected when it comes to these lines and when it comes to I think they're a top 5 football team. I know it's hard to put them in with teams winning and everything, but this is one of the best teams in the country in my opinion. And we talk about their offense and their defense is struggling. They haven't played the best teams, but they had a conference game last week, and they
handled business against Stanford.
They did, and they had 3 or 4 turnovers in that game. They have the most turnovers on their defense in the country right now with 8. So I don't think their defense is as bad as people think. They give up points, like in Stanford, they gave up 14 in the 4th to kind of come back. But it's one of those games at the end where you give up some points at the end for a slight comeback. But I'm all over USC this week. It's one of my best bets. At 10.5, 11, depending on where you get it at. I love this game. I think they win by 2 touchdowns, if not more. I love the Fresno State team, too. They're always really, really good. They put up a ton of points.
They don't have the offense to match up with USC. And speaking of USC, you mentioned the offense. Mm-hmm. You want to talk about a Heisman frontrunner? Is there anybody in the Heisman race right now who has proven he belongs other than Caleb Williams? Stroud has struggled. He had a game against Notre Dame, wasn't all that good. Bryce Young against Texas. I know he had that late drive that sealed him the deal, but still struggled against Texas. Yep. Caleb Williams is the Heisman frontrunner. Anybody else?
I guess so far. But we talk about Heisman moments, and those moments will come. Other than
that
blowing
is
out
fair.
Rice and
But we want to
Stanford.
talk about players that have played
he's
to the
been exceptional.
Heisman level.
Yeah, he's been exceptional.
Right? And when, Michigan fans, for example, JJ, September Heisman, whatever. But to be fair, though, I mean, you look at JJ's line right now, 15 to 16, 250-plus yards. I want to say 3 or 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. The guy is phenomenal. The numbers are there. You give him a 3-4 week stretch and he plays like he played against Hawaii. Guys, he's going to be in the Heisman talk. I mean, I don't think it's hyperbole. Do I think he's a Heisman favorite? Absolutely not. No,
But he's
he
out in
shouldn't be.
California. The people
No,
will be
he
watching.
shouldn't be. But after he plays his Big Ten schedule, after Iowa, if he plays really well against Iowa, if he beats Michigan State at home, and dare I say Michigan are running the table leading up to the Ohio State game, boys, he's going to be in the conversation. Not because he's winning games only, but I think we all agree. He's got the talent with the legs.
Mm-hmm.
The arm talent is there. The numbers will be there.
And if they're undefeated going into Ohio
Can
State.
he, do I think he'll jump Stroud? Do I think he'll jump Bryce Young? Do I think he'll jump Caleb Williams, who in my opinion right now are the top 3? No, I don't. No, I don't. And I don't think he'll ever realistically have a shot at the Heisman this year. Not his first year as a starter. That would be something special. That would be Johnny Manziel-esque. I don't see it. It's just, it'll take a whole different story that I just don't think is there. It would take 3 teams, 3 players falling off, which I don't expect to happen. So, look, as much as I love J.J. McCarthy, I don't think he's a legitimate Heisman winner. Although, to be fair, the money is being put on him right now. People love the odds. And again,
Well,
it's a betting game.
Yeah, and it's plus 3,000, plus 4,000. So that
Yep.
probably would explain some of that.
Yeah, and when you look at the odds too, I mean, like Adam said, if he goes all the way to Ohio State and he's putting up numbers and they're
He's
undefeated,
going to be one of the top 4 or 5 best odds to win
exactly,
the Heisman.
and that's going to be a Heisman game right there. If he goes into Ohio State versus C.J. Stroud and you have him at plus 3,000, you have good odds with
crazy.
him. It's going to be different by the time that comes. So that's why I think a lot of people are putting money on him now. Is that value's there? Most likely they have the opportunity to go into that Ohio State game undefeated. If you can get the value now, it's going to be completely different going in versus C.J. Stroud, to where he has an opportunity to have that Heisman game. Not going to say he's going to, but the potential there, if you're a betting guy, that value.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, from a betting perspective, like wasn't he at plus like ridiculous? It was
30,000, I think.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
like 30,000, and then in one game you dropped to plus 3,000. So
Yep.
it's like that's what you're talking about. You get it while it's hot. Get it while it's hot.
It's a betting game.
Although
boys.
we don't agree with it, it's still betting odds, man. You win your money.
Look, I want to go across the room before we wrap up. So let's start with the Michigan UConn game. I think we all agree. Booner, who's going to win this game?
Oh, Michigan.
Oh, UConn. No, it'd be Michigan by like 45. I mean, come on.
All right, I think we all agree. Michigan.
Yeah.
Ohio State hosting Toledo. Who do we got, boys? I'm going to go Ohio State.
Can I say something on this? I like Ohio State, but I'm actually going to take Toledo plus 32. I'm throwing that out there. And I do
no
give me that
cover?
crazy look, but
I like it.
hear me out. Toledo, it's an in-state game. Ryan Day even said himself, Toledo's coming into this game ready to compete. Toledo's not a scrub MAC team coming in there. Like that's a good
Yeah.
football team. They're averaging 45 points a game, and they've only given up 10 all
putting
year.
45 on the road in Columbus.
I'm taking the plus 32.
Nah.
If you guys want to
No.
throw that in a parlay
Yeah.
or do that, I'm taking Toledo plus 32. I think it's going to be a 20-point game. I don't think it's going to be a 40, 50-point game. I think it's going to be within 30.
Because I'm with you, because I don't think Ohio State's offense has like kicked it into gear yet. Like
Yeah.
it's still early in
Yeah,
the
it's a
season.
scary thing.
Well,
And
it's a scary thing, but
there's-
he's right.
There's
Plus
the whole
32.
question with the Notre Dame situation. They played Notre Dame, played them close. Notre Dame just lost. Like there's all of that question. I think Toledo's coming in there, and then they want to
By the
put it
way.
to Ohio State.
By the way, a very special shout out to all my favorite people that go to the University of Notre Dame. Shout out to you fucking losers. Congratulations, you lost to Marshall.
And Marshall got paid.
You paid Marshall just to come down there and embarrass you. Congratulations, Notre Dame. Congratulations, Kennedy Broadwell. Congratulations to all you fucking loser Notre Dame fans. I hope you enjoyed that loss. Oh, that brought joy to my heart. I have never been. I donated to charity after that game. That's how
No.
happy I was. It really opened my heart.
Such a good guy.
Oh God, Notre Dame losing. What more could I ask for? You know, if they lose this week, I mean, we're gonna have a party.
Adam,
We're gonna have a party.
Did you guys already cover BYU and Oregon?
I've been trying to avoid it, to be honest. Okay, I mean, I'm taking the
Everyone's
home
gonna talk
team.
about
I'm taking the
BYU.
home team. I don't trust the fucking Mormons, all right? I don't think they're going to beat Oregon, but who am I?
I'll take-
I already lost my bet against Baylor, so I'm not making another bet on this. I already got a cut-up chest enough. Now I got to wait for the damn hair to grow back so I can freaking chop it up again and write fuck BYU on it. That way I can show up and show it on the show. So I'm not happy about this, but I'm taking the fucking Oregon Ducks.
You know what I'm scared of in this game? Like, Oregon's at home, and Bo Nix, this stat just blew my mind. His touchdown interception ratio against unranked teams compared to ranked teams, he's like 29 touchdowns, 4 interceptions against unranked teams. When he faces ranked teams, it's like a completely different scenario. So that's what worries me. Bo Nix feasts on bad teams, and now you got a ranked team in BYU. I want to go with Oregon. You know what? Screw it. We'll go with Oregon. But Bo Nix is he's scaring me a little bit.
I'm going against you. I'm going with the other quarterback, Jaron Hall. There, he's 7-1 versus Power 5 teams.
There you go.
7-1.
There you go.
And I mean, we're getting 3 points there. It's going to be a close game. BYU plays every single game close, and they're in every game, especially against these Power 5 teams. Top 25 matchup, even though it's on the road. BYU is just going to control the whole game, the possession. I love BYU plus 3.5.
If I can give
rolling
BYU
that.
something, they've at least shown me what they're going to do. Like
Yep.
we know what we're going to get out of BYU. I feel like with Oregon so far, it's like, okay, you had the game against Georgia, which completely understandable. It was against Georgia, and they followed up. Bo Nix throws for 5 touchdowns. Like, I don't know what we're getting this game out of Oregon, so I'm not confident with it. But I'm going with the home team in Oregon. I just think they have more speed. But again, you're right. I mean, BYU. I think Adam just keeps picking against the Mormons.
Keep going against BYU. You're going to lose a lot of money.
Paul Thomas says any Mormons in the greater Detroit area have, quote, unsubscribed. Good riddance. Oh, man. All right, last game, Miami on the road. Who do we got?
I love this. This is one of my favorite games for a couple different reasons. You have Miami, who with Mario Cristobal. This one for me is a little more tougher to call. I'm probably going to lean Miami in this one
It has to be.
Yeah, because
I don't think A&M.
because you saw what A&M looked like last week. I don't trust A&M yet, and I think Haynes King is like a couple interceptions away from being benched. So for me, I'm going to go with Miami. But even Miami with their quarterback situation, it's not the most confident in the world. But you know what? I think defensively they're gonna come to play. So I'll go with Miami.
Yeah, I'm going against you guys on a lot of games this week because I like Texas A&M. I think
It's a tough place to play, though.
It's tough, and they lost at home last week, and I think it's just one of those bounce back weeks to where they have a ranked opponent in Miami coming in. We don't know really what Miami is yet. We know they're a good football team, but Texas has all of these 5 stars. They have the roster to do it.
They don't have the offense.
It's about the quarterback situation. They have a guy, Max Johnson, on
Pretty
the
good
bench.
at LSU.
Yeah, and it's like, all right, is Jimbo going to bring him in the game? Is he gonna take that chance? I think he does, and I think he should. And I think Texas A&M, their defense is going to be too good. I think they just have a huge bounce back week. Like, eventually the tables are gonna turn for them, and they're gonna start playing really, really well. I think that's this week. A ranked opponent at home. I'm taking them even in the points -6. I think they win by a touchdown here at home, coming off that tough loss.
Fair enough. Well, fellas, appreciate you coming on. Appreciate it as always. Make sure you guys follow Booner on Twitter. Check out his YouTube channel as well, Booner Sports Show. You gotta. What are we doing here? No invitations.
No, Jeff's been on already.
You've been on?
Jeff's been on
yeah.
already. You're the next one up. Whenever you're ready. The Booner
Brought on
Sports
this
Show.
guy? All right.
I had a blast, man.
You had a blast too, huh?
I had a blast. We were talking all
You're a
about
whore.
you. Like, man,
you know
so
that.
glad Adam's not here.
You're a whore. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Enjoy college football. Michigan State's going to be Washington. Shout out. I can't wait to watch that game. Booner, enjoy your weekend. Good luck on your bets. Fletch, thanks so much for helping out this weekend.
Fletch, the GOAT.
Jeff, I'll see you tomorrow. Me and Jeff will be hosting the Detroit Lions pregame show live. And I can't wait. It's going to be a blast. So check Jeff and I out tomorrow for the Lions pregame show. We'll see you all. Have a great weekend.